Hi guys, my name is Adrien Danhauser. I'm a physiotherapist at Just Physio. This month we're going to talk about running injuries, and we're also going to talk about running shoes. So that's why we are at Runaway Sports today. This is Werner Steinbach. He's going to help us a little bit with some of the questions we have regarding shoes. So yes, we can't wait. What are the most important guidelines when buying a new shoe?
So when buying running shoes, it's quite important to first decide what you're going to use it for. So is it going to be on the road or on trail? Are you going to use it for track work? And also, secondly, you must know that what works for one person is not necessarily going to work for another person. So it must be comfortable for you, for your needs.
How do you choose the right size?
When choosing the size, it's quite important. We normally say full size to a size and a half up. So if you want to test it, the guy that's helping you, there must be a full thumb space in front. Reason why we say that, your feet swells when you run, and on a warm day and running up and downhill, it's quite important. There must be a little bit of space, otherwise your toes are going to push right in front.
What should you look at when you look at a stable shoe, and what should you look at when you look at an anti-pronating shoe?
So you get a neutral shoe, so you get a soft neutral shoe and then you get a firmer neutral shoe. So say you're pronating a little bit, meaning rolling a little bit to the inside, you'd rather go for a firmer neutral shoe. Then secondly, you get a shoe that's a stability shoe. So if you're rolling quite a lot, pronating quite a lot, then normally it's got a little bit of stability block on the inside. The density is higher, so it's giving you a little bit of support on the inside. So that's what's quite important, first to get tested to see what your feet are doing before buying a shoe.
When people run in your shop on a treadmill, what do you look at?
So normally we would look firstly at their gait, what their feet are doing. So there's three ways. You can be your feet can be supinating, rolling to the outside. You can be pronating, rolling to the inside, or you can be neutral. So say you're pronating, all depends also how much you're pronating. From there on, there's different stability shoes in each range that for light stability up until motion control. The more you pronate, the more stable the shoe must be. Neutral normally is just when your foot's nicely in the middle. If you're supinating, just a firm neutral shoe would be perfect for that. Not too soft, because normally the shoe would wear out quite quickly on the outside. So a firm neutral shoe would be perfect for that.
What does a minimalistic shoe look like, and how does it differ? And who use a minimalistic shoe?
So traditionally, a traditional shoe would normally be a difference between heel to toes would be between 8 to 12 millimeters. A minimalistic shoe normally is mimicking the way you're running when you're running barefoot. So then it means there shouldn't be too much difference between heel to toe. A shoe like this, even though it's got a fixed stack height, it's actually only on a zero drop. So the heel height is the same as the forefoot. Some person that wants to use this normally is you can do it once a week if you want to. There is people that can run only with this, but it's not everyone that can. Normally you would incorporate in one of your training sessions just to strengthen foot muscles or calf muscles. That's quite important if you just want to incorporate one session in a week to use something like that. What
shoe will people with wider feet use?
So half sizes in sports shoes are actually not for width, it's in length. How they determine a wider shoe, it's standard shoes in men's would be a D cut. Then you get a wider one that's a 2E, and New Balance even brings in a 4E. Ladies' standard widths are Bs, and wider ones are Ds. Locally, New Balance is doing wide for men's and ladies, Asics as well, Brooks as well, and Saucony does wide fits for men's. So there is those different widths available for men's and ladies.
What shoes should you start with when you are a novice, and what would you recommend for your more experienced runners?
One thing you must remember when we test someone in the beginning, we never start off with the most expensive one, because you don't necessarily have to look at the most expensive one immediately. The shoes we stock would work for any distance. So say for instance, in New Balance, you've got the 880 and 1080. 880 is a better priced shoe, so you can start off with that before looking at the 1080. That's about 800-900 rand more expensive. You don't necessarily have to look immediately to that. The other thing as well, the more expensive it is, it's not necessarily going to last you longer or work better. The 880 would work just as good.
What would you recommend for a trail runner?
The biggest difference normally in trail running shoes and road running shoes is on the outer sole. The road running shoes uses a normal blown rubber sole. you'd normally see on a trail running shoe, it's more a carbon rubber. It's a stronger rubber, and also the lugs you'll see is a little bit deeper, so it's giving you more grip when running up and downhill. Also, a trail running shoe normally has got, most of them has got a rock stock plate on the forefoot just to protect your feet when running off-road from the rocks or sticks that may be lying in the on the trails. Trail running shoes you can't take to the road, just for the reason the lugs are going to be worn out quite quickly, so you must just decide where you're going to spend more time before buying a trail running shoe. If you're going to only do it once a month, road running shoes you can take off-road, that's fine, but if you're going to run more trail, rather look at a trail running shoe then. Also, a trail running shoe's got other features like a lot more toe protection than a road shoe. It's got a different upper. The upper is called water repellent, so it dries quite quickly when going through water also. Locally, we don't get water resistant just for the reason our weather is quite hot, and when it's water resistant, your feet are going to get hot quite quickly in the shoe.
When should you replace your shoes?
So there's a few factors to take into account how long and how many kilometers you get out of a running shoe for each person. Firstly, the terrain you're using it for. Is it like going to run more on gravel, more on tar? We say if you take kilometers, 700 kilometers to 1,000 kilometers. If you don't use them regularly, the lifespan would be 16 to 24 months. That's how much you're going to get out of a shoe then.
Is there currently a shoe shortage in South Africa? What would you recommend for runners?
So actually not only in South Africa but worldwide there is in certain or most brands there is a shoe shortage, just for a reason most of the shoes are made in Vietnam. Because of COVID, a lot of the factories were closed for 6 to 8 weeks, so they couldn't produce the same amount of shoes that they used to. So that's the main reason why you wouldn't maybe see one of your models, say in Asics Cumulus, you won't see it in 4 or 5 different colors, but only in one. And also some of the models, the newer ones, were just moved out by 3 to 4 months. So there is a shoe shortage, but luckily most of the brands worked around it to make sure there is shoes. It's just maybe the color variety isn't the same anymore. But you still have options to look at, luckily.
If you get black toes after a run, can you change your shoe? Will that help?
So normally when you're getting black toes, it all depends. Firstly, we would look at size of the shoe. We make sure if the size was correct, there was a full thumb space in front. Then also, if your toes are getting black on your smaller toes, it could be possible that's your running style. So what that normally, if the shoe is too soft, you will find on the front foot your toes are catching it over there because it's just too soft. It's not enough support. Then we'd rather just look at a shoe with a firmer forefoot.
Do you recommend physiotherapy to some of your clients?
We do recommend it. We don't only just send them to physios when they've got injuries. It's actually quite important if you're running a lot of kilometers, say running 4 to 5 times a week, you're training for the 2 oceans or comrades, you do need to look after your body as well. So what could happen, in running especially, your alignment could be out. So it's not necessarily a niggle that you're getting, it's because of the shoes. It might just be there's certain muscles that's not strong enough, and normally your physio could help you just to strengthen that muscles and also just aligning your body again.
There you have it, guys. Everything that you need to know about shoes. Thank you, Werner, for informing us, and it was really nice to be at your shop. If you have to buy your next shoe, guys, Runaway Sport is the place to be. And remember, you have to also look at the rest of your body. It's not just the shoe. Please remember to go and read our blog. There we explain a little bit about injuries and what the hip can actually, also how it can contribute to injuries. So go and have a look for that. Bye.